I want to talk about the Seattle Storm. Because while Seattle is sitting in that 8th spot with a record of 22 wins and 20 losses, even though they're sort of hanging out towards the bottom, they have a playoff spot right now. This is one of those situations where Seattle actually does not have a ton of games left, which means that not only do they need to win, they also need to count on the LA Sparks to lose, right? And which is why I thought that the LA Sparks had a chance to really choose their own destiny, because this is a team that has the games left to try to make a miracle happen. Whereas Seattle, they will have to just be watching and hoping and praying that the LA Sparks lose. Does that make sense? Right now we have 2 games upcoming for the Seattle Storm, and these are 2 home games, but they're against really good teams. Now I don't anticipate them beating the Liberty, right? But the Valks seems to be like a win, though. I mean, we just saw Seattle lose yesterday in a game that they absolutely should have won. So anything can happen. Anything can happen, and we're gonna talk about the risk that the Seattle Storm is taking. But yeah, we just saw yesterday that Seattle lost yesterday to the LA Sparks. If Seattle loses both against the Valkyrie and the Liberty, as I said, yes, uphill battle for the LA Sparks, but they have enough games left to possibly jump over the Seattle Storm. Talk about draft picks. Because when we talk about the case for and against making the playoffs, the number one thing in our minds needs to be next year. We got to look at we have to look at the draft and draft prospect. Here's the thing: the teams that don't make it in to the playoffs, they're gonna get entered into the lottery, which could be very helpful for certain teams. Right now, for Seattle's in a good position. They're in a really, really good position. The reason why is because Seattle's pick, their normal pick, is not going to them. They can't keep their normal pick. Seattle's normal pick is going over to Washington. So they've traded away their first-round pick, their natural first-round pick. They've traded that away to Washington, to the Washington Mystics. Right, and remember that was the trade that I believe that was the trade that involved Brittany Sykes. Remember, Brittany Sykes is now on the Seattle Storm, and so that's part of what Washington got. I worded this wrong. So Washington owns Seattle's pick for the first round, and then Seattle owns the LA Sparks and the Las Vegas Aces picks for the first round. Sorry, I did word that wrong. Okay. So Seattle, if LA does not make the playoffs, will have a lottery pick. The natural Seattle pick will go to the Washington Mystics. And Seattle also owns the Las Vegas Aces pick. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Here's my opinion. If the Seattle Storm do not make the playoffs, and if they don't make it past the first round, I think that Noelle Quinn is getting fired. I think her seat is so hot, it's about to be on fire. Her seat is so hot, it's about to be on fire if they don't make the playoffs and if they don't make it past the first round. Because here's the thing. Noelle Quinn is someone who, she played for Seattle, right? Remember? She played for Seattle. She was super, she's on a really good team, right? Her and Stewie and Sue Bird were on the team together and whatnot, and so she knows what excellence in Seattle looks like. Noelle Quinn has been on this team going on 5 years now, 5 seasons as the head coach, and during her time, now ignore the 2023 season, ignore the 2023 season, ignore it. Because 2023 was when basically Jewell Loyd was by herself, and like I don't count that season against Noelle Quinn because she didn't have much talent. She really didn't. She did not have much talent. But what I want to talk about is last year and this year. Last year, the Seattle Storm had Jewell Loyd, Skylar Diggins, Nneka Ogwumike. Really good team. And a team that showed a lot of promise, right? In terms of individual talent. Now you could say, yeah, it's the first year with that team, and they had some issues and yada, yada. They make it to the playoffs. Ultimately, the guys, they lose in the first round. Not great, right? Not great. We move on to this year where the Seattle Storm, again, has good talent, shows sparks of greatness. Get it? Sparks. But this is a team that consistently seems to flounder when they shouldn't. This is a team that loses games that it's like, what in the world? What are y'all doing? This is a team that sometimes gets into hero ball mode, or we're just going to go out there and do whatever we want to do, and it's not really any schemes, and like it's sometimes they look excellent on the court and sometimes they look like trash. And the weird thing is you see the talent on this team and it's confusing as to why they play like trash sometimes. It really is. I find it very confusing. And I still haven't figured out exactly what's wrong with Seattle. Like, I don't know if it's like a mentality type of thing, because you got some dogs on your team. You got Skylar, you got Nneka, right? You got Gabby Williams. Like, you have some really good players, some players who like literally got that dog in them. They can hoop. And then sometimes you see the rotations and you see the fact that still, Dominique Malonga, who in my opinion should have been starting mid-season over Ezzie McMagor, she still isn't starting, right? You see them bring in a player like a Brittany Sykes from Washington, and that hasn't really lifted up a spark in this team, right? You had Alicia Clark, one of the vets in the league, decide that she wanted to lead the team, right? One of the former stars of the Seattle Storm who came back, she wants to be gone, right? Anyway, after coaching for 5 seasons for the Seattle Storm, take out the 2023 season. Take that out. This team has not made it to the finals, right? They made it to, I believe the best they did was the second. They lost in the second round, right? Last year they lost in the first round. This year they may not even make the playoffs. But again, even if they make the playoffs, I think the experiment for Noel Quinn will be gone. Now, is that a bummer? Yes, but at the same time, she has had 5 years. I am of the mind, personally, that coaches need to be getting preferably a minimum of 3 years to really see what they can do. I think we've seen what Noel Quinn can do. I think we've seen her with some really good talent. Now, personally, I'm not calling for anybody to get fired, but I can absolutely understand if the Seattle Storm would get rid of her. I could absolutely see that with like all the allegations and all that stuff that has been floating around Seattle, all that jazz. I really do think that this might be the end for Noel Quinn in Seattle. Is that a good thing? I don't know, but I think that's definitely what's going to happen. So, it's Noel Quinn. Let's go team by team, and let's talk about the case for and against the playoffs. The case for the playoffs for the LA Sparks is that they have nothing to lose, right? If they don't make the playoffs, they don't benefit with the lottery pick. They don't benefit, right? Because they don't even own their lottery pick. Remember, guys, if the LA Sparks don't make the playoffs, that lottery pick is going to Seattle. So, nothing to lose. You have absolutely nothing to lose. Nothing. All right? The case against the playoffs is nothing for LA, because again, LA does not own their first round pick. So to me, the case for and against for LA is just make the playoffs, because you don't benefit from not making the playoffs. You don't, not at all, because you don't even own your draft pick. So for LA, make it. If you don't make it, it's fine. You're a whole lot better than last year, and you have a coach for the future. Now you want to talk about a modern coach? A modern coach? That's Lynn Roberts right there. Yeah, that's Lynn Roberts, right? And the way they play, yeah, that's a different style than anyway. Anyway, let me get off that. Okay, next up, the Seattle Storm. The case for making the playoffs is to save Noel Quinn's job. I think Noel Quinn will be severely in the hot seat, likely fired if they don't make the playoffs. So the case for making the playoffs is you save Noel Quinn. Save Noel Quinn. And actually show off the potential of the Seattle Storm team. The Seattle Storm is a team that can make it to the second round, right? They have a chance of messing around and finding out, of another team messing around and finding out, and Seattle making it to the finals. It's a possibility. Now, is it likely? No, not likely at all. But you never know. So for the Seattle Storm, it's all about making it to the playoffs, because you save your coach. You can save the identity of this team. Here's the thing. Not only is Noel, in my opinion, going to be gone if this team does not make the playoffs, but also Skylar, Nneka, I don't know about them two leading this team for the foreseeable future, because the Seattle Storm ownership wants a championship, right? You bring in 2 stars, didn't work last year with Jewell Loyd. Okay, you reset this year, bring in some other players, and it's still not gonna work. I think they may be on another team next year. I'm just saying. For Seattle, as I said before, it doesn't benefit them. If they don't make the playoffs, because they do not own their first round pick. Their first round pick goes to Washington. So if the Seattle Storm do not make the playoffs, well, the Washington Mystics have 2 lottery picks for next year, right? Amarachi says Nneka might go to the Sparks next year. I could absolutely see that. I could totally see that, guys. I really could. Yeah, I really could. And then